Good afternoon and welcome to why your social media just doesn't seem to be working and a few things you can do about that as well. We're going to get little bit real. I might get a little bit raw here. I might get a little bit I'm not going to be mean about it. Let's put it that way, because every mistake you're making on social media right now is a mistake I've made as well. My name's Dante St. James. I really welcome you along to this. Let's share that screen and get this 1 hour session underway. A quote first from Brian Solis, who's one of the biggest social media experts in the world, says that social media is about sociology and psychology more than it is about technology. That to me tells me that we're often getting this wrong. We're so bogged down in the technology and the systems that are going to do all this, but that we don't really understand that the real point of it is that it's actually about people. It's about connection. It's about understanding what makes people tick, about what helps people to feel like they are connected and in a safe, nurturing environment, even in the wilds of social media. Nuts, isn't it? What we're going to cover this afternoon and into this evening is, what does working look like? What is social media that works? We're going to look at the fact that you don't have a strategy. You're probably on the wrong platform. Consistency isn't really an indicator of success. Going viral is not a strategy in the slightest. It's not about you. You're not interacting. No one cares. You're not patient enough. There's no personality, and you're not testing. Wow, this is a bit of a slap in the face, this one. Like I said, though, nothing that I'm going to show you today is something that I don't or haven't done myself as well. The mistakes I've made as well. Now, this set of pieces comes from a lot of different sources where I've been pulling in all the different things that the experts have been saying that are absolutely wrong. And some of those experts, I'm going to bring them up a little bit later to show you who I've been inspired by as we've gone on this journey as to what should be working on social media, but doesn't really seem to be working because, well, let's face it, sometimes we just don't know what we're doing wrong to know what we're doing right. This is brought to you by Business Station and the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Digital Solutions Program, in conjunction with Regional Development Australia Brisbane for Queensland, Treaty Business Consulting in the Northern Territory, and Business Station, of course, in WA, where I'm sure a lot of people on the call are from this afternoon. If you want to be able to watch this a little bit later on, you can. It's being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube in the next few hours through the Business Station channel and through my own Dante St. James channel as well. Choose which one you go for. We've both got hundreds of different videos on there ready for you to watch. So please, if you are watching this on YouTube right now, please leave us a comment down below if there's any questions you have to ask, and please subscribe as well and hit that bell notification icon just so you get more of that stuff coming through from myself and from Business Station. And if you are on the Zoom call, and there's tons of you that are on the Zoom call this afternoon/evening, then please do pop your questions in the Q&A, pop your questions in the chat, and I'll answer those as we're going on, because this is a live one. I'm coming from Darwin, so still quite a bit of daylight left for me. It might be getting a little dark in Queensland right now. In WA, well, you're still in the middle of yesterday, aren't you? So, you're fine. You're going to do just fine. Just kidding. Now, a little bit about me. If you've not come across me before, I've had my marketing degree and business information systems degree and masters from the University of New South Wales, Sydney. I've studied with the Chartered Institute of Marketing through their basic diplomas right through their postgraduate diplomas in marketing and digital marketing. And I do a lot of little micro credentials through TAFE New South Wales. I'm not in New South Wales, I just happen to use their stuff because I was already in their system. So it's just easy to go for. One of my big jobs, though, is to work as a lead trainer for Facebook Australia and New Zealand, and for the global Facebook Blueprint program, a digital marketing associate and a media planning professional with Facebook as well. Google Digital Springboard, I work with the Be Connected program, the NEACE program in the Northern Territory as a mentor, and working with, of course, this program, the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Digital Solutions Program. So what does working mean to you? What is working social media? What is social media that doesn't seem to have problems with it? Well, the problem is that we often like to draw revenue and social media organic posts together, as if if I post a few things on social media, people are going to come rushing to me to buy my stuff and book my services. The problem is, though, that organic social media rarely ever leads to actual revenue growth. Organic social media in 2021 tends to be one of a couple of things. It's either a promotional channel to get people used to who you are so that they understand your brand and understand what you do. Secondly, though, it's used as what we call social proof. Now, social proof is where somebody can feel safer dealing with you because either they've been recommended you from someone or they've gone to look for you to see evidence of the work you've done. They see your stuff on social media and go, okay, I can see what they do. They're still alive and well. They haven't flown by night. And in regional Australia, trust me, that's something that we go through all the time. You might get in the cities as well, those particularly from those pesky web developers and social media managers, hey? And we often try to tie our social media organic posts to sales or tie it to bookings, that kind of thing. But instead, what we probably should be doing is tying our paid social media to those things, because paid social media is gives us what is called a sales funnel. And understanding the sales funnel is understanding the customer's journey through to you, particularly using tools like social media. So if we look at what the sales funnel basically looks like for your organic social media on a sales funnel, it's all about awareness, consideration, and conversion. Awareness, nobody knows about you. They don't know who you are, what you do, no idea. But suddenly you might have come up at some point and in their feed because a friend of yours happened to like them, and suddenly they're aware of you. Now, that is an area that's really good on social media when it comes to organic posting. So when you're just posting your free stuff through your page, through your groups, through your profile, all that sort of stuff, that is where you're going to get the best results from and the best response from. That's where you are finding that people actually then remember who you are. Doesn't mean they're ready to buy from you though. At the next stage, which is consideration, this could be many months, even a year and a half in some cases with clients of mine, from when they first became aware of me to the time when they actually needed me and considered me in the mix of people that they would like to get to do this. They came into the consideration part of the funnel. Now, this particular part of the funnel is far less effective when it comes to posting organically on social media. So you can see that by the time you get down to the conversion point where someone books something or they buy something from you through social media, there's very, very few of them that are doing that. And it's very, very ineffective at that level. Now, it's very, very different, though, on paid social media because you can control somebody who sees you and becomes aware of you. If they show some behaviors that show that they're aware of you now, you can send them a second ad and you can get that second ad in front of them, which gets them into that consideration part. You can sort of preemptively answer questions that they may have about your business or about what you do. But at the conversion point, then with paid social media, like ads, Facebook ads, for instance, you've got the ability to be able to put that final ad in front of them, which then says, yes, this is how you buy the thing. This is the discount code to get the thing. Here is the process of buying or booking me as a consultant. But that doesn't happen in organic social media posting. Whilst there is still an awareness, a consideration, and a conversion part of that journey towards you, the problem is that so few people will recognize that because so few people will get past the initial awareness stage with you unless you're able to force some material in front of them. And that's only been able to be done through boosts and posts and boosts of posts and paid ads on things like Facebook and Instagram. So what you may be doing wrong is trying to sell on your organic posts because somebody might have told you once that you've got to put yourself out there. You've got to put that out there and you've got to ask for the sale. And we interpreted that as asking for the sale on Facebook posts. Unfortunately, that's not where people are at when they're on Facebook. It's also not what people go to Facebook to do. So the alternative then is to set your goals for your organic social media. So when I say organic, a lot of people don't know what I mean by that. What I mean is the free stuff, the stuff that you're allowed to put out there for free. It's natural content that you're putting out on the feed, not the stuff you're paying to force out on the feed. So you set your goals for social within reality of how social media platforms work. So the first way they work is that they help you to grow your followers. So if you set a target for, I want to grow my followers to a certain amount, then you can realistically achieve that. If you want to grow the engagement, the amount of interactions that people have, that is possible to do through organic social media posting. getting more leads and inquiries is actually also quite possible. Selling a product is really, really hard to do without forcing an ad through. Because when you're talking money, you're talking about people getting skin in the game. And we're still like a little bit slow to take on the whole buying from social media thing. Because we're kind of assuming social media can be a little of a cesspit of humanity at times. So we think, well, do I really want to buy that thing through social media? I think I'd rather go to a website to do it, or go to Amazon, or go to eBay or something, or Wish, even though Wish is a bit of a cesspit of humanity as well. Now, the leads and inquiries can be something you provide as a pathway through to your business, through the booking buttons at the top of your Facebook page, or by including a message button on your posts that are going out on your page. That is a way of getting those leads and inquiries through the posts that you have. What we do then is you say, well, I want to sell stuff. I'm a business, I need to sell stuff. Well, you boost your best posts. If there is a post that's doing really, really well, boosting the best performing posts amplifies them well beyond where they already are. The same doesn't necessarily work when you try to boost your worst posts. And I can almost guarantee that most of your worst posts have got to do with you trying to sell something, right? You trying to say, here, we've got this for this price this week, or book this now before June 30 and you'll qualify for X, or join my my Facebook group and you'll get lots of. It's always asking for someone to do something, right? When you try to boost those kind of things, you're taking something that no one's interested in and trying to force it in front of them anyway, which is bound to fail. It's just like trying to say, you must watch this one TV channel, Channel 10, and all I'm going to put in front of you on Channel 10 is reality cooking shows and nothing else. And you're like, well, that's great. And you can advertise those reality cooking shows to me all you want, but I still don't want to watch them. So you're not going to be able to force me to see that stuff. And Facebook will not make it easy for you to put things that people aren't interested in front of them. Just because you're paying them money doesn't mean you're going to get it in front of tens of thousands of people who are just not interested. So tying your revenue growth to paid stuff that's already performing quite well, or at least has some momentum that people are interested in, is going to be much easier to do than trying to tie your revenue growth to things like organic posts that you're not paying for. Because you've got some level of control of the sales funnel when it comes to paid stuff, then you're able to turn that fire hose up a little bit when you want to put a bit more money into it and get a few more people coming through. And you can turn it down again if you've got a bit too much work. Like I've got too much work at the moment. I don't need any more right now. So I'm turning my advertising funnel down. It may seem weird, but I spend $1,700 a month on advertising. I've just wound that right back down to $250 a month, simply because I've got too much work right now. I'm not stopping, because that would be a mess. I do want to be able to keep some momentum going. I still want at least some inquiries coming in, but I just want the volume of those inquiries to slow down just a touch. Your strategy isn't working on social media because often you don't have one. And this is a real mess because we tend to think of strategy as tactics. So tactics are those funny little things we go, well, on Mondays, I'm going to do a motivation Monday, and on Tuesday, it's going to be tools Tuesday, and Wednesday is going to be hump day, and I'm going to have a theme around that. And Thursday, throwback Thursday, and Friday is free for all, free market Friday. And we get these strange themes that someone seems to have picked up. Or we ask really inane questions on our posts of such things. What does wealth mean to you? What does having a happier, more successful life mean to you? And we're trying to get people to answer these questions, which are quite frankly a little bit too personal to be answering on a very open public page. Or it could be something like tying a strategy to an outcome. To get to 10,000 followers, we will do this. Now, a strategy is very different to those things. Asking little inane questions, running little promotions, doing motivation Mondays, they're all what we call tactics. They're little tactics that we hope are going to get us there. But a strategy starts with an outcome that you want to achieve. If you want to get to 10,000 followers on Instagram, then here's the steps we're going to take to get there based upon really good advice. Now, one of those tactics could be to ask questions of your followers that are there right now, for them to post a picture of something that represents happiness to them. Great. If that's one of your tactics, there's actually nothing wrong with that. As long as it's a step on the way to getting to that point you want to get to. And if you start with at 10,000 followers, I would need to do all these steps, all these different things that I've seen other people do. Then you're going on the way to getting that objective fulfilled. Now, we don't do that by just doing Motivation Mondays and Free for All Fridays. We don't do that by producing here's 10 reasons to use my particular powder, potion, or pill. We do that by looking at what successful people have done. I can tell you now that successful people don't ask stupid questions in their posts. If you want to reach those 10,000 followers, you will do what is called split testing. So you're going to test your way through. So you might start off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different post types. And what you want to do over the next 2 months is go, out of those 6 different post types, I'm going to put 2 of them up against each other, and then a winner will come out. So the winners are A, B, and C. Great. Now I'm going to put all those against each other. A is going to go up against B. B is going to go up against C. They're all going to go up against each other. Whichever ones win is going to form A, B, and BC. And finally, you get your final kind of post type that really, really works for the people who are following you. So it could be a mix of your Motivation Mondays. It could be an educational post all about how to use your product. It could be a post that inspires people to want to do something more with their lives. If we follow that engage, educate, and excite kind of social post. So engaging means it gets attention. Educating means, well, it educates someone about why you do, what your business does. It could educate them about the industry you're in. It could educate them about health and well-being as it applies to your product or service. And then the excite post is all about causing an action, or a call to action is probably a really good way to do it. It's saying that book us now to get your life together. It is about email me now to be sent back the brochure for river cruise tours in 2023. That kind of call to action. So you mix them all together and you see the stuff that works. And when you find the stuff that works, that ABC at the bottom of the screen there, that's when you go, okay, that's what I'm going to do for now, but it's not going to work forever. I need to then go back to the beginning and try new things, because social media passes so quickly through our lives. Social media is for here today, gone tomorrow. In stories, it's literally here today, gone tomorrow. So if we then repeat that process of testing the things that work, repeating the things that work, removing the things that don't work, it seems like it might be a lot of work, but what it really is just saying, well, if I know what my followers like, if I know what my target customer really likes, what their life is like, what the problems are they need solved, then I just have to find creative ways to do Canva graphics or videos or any sort of post you like that's going to inspire people to respond, either as someone who is getting attention and being aware of you for the first time, or they're learning more about you so that they have more information of which to consider working with you, or they have enough information and they want to click on that buy button that you've provided in there as well. So you need to take your customers on a journey. And some of that is just working out what stuff they actually respond to, because most of the time they're not going to respond to Motivation Monday. I keep picking on Motivation Monday because it's one of those ones you see again and again and again. And I don't think it ever works for anybody, really. Now, another reason why your social media may not be working is because you're on the wrong platform. Now, there's lots of them out there: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I'm reading them in order. So Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat, Reddit, Tumblr, Quora, and Blogger. So some of those you may be aware of. Some of them you may have even thought they were called social media. For instance, like, is YouTube social media? Well, it actually is, because it's got a comment section. People can interact with each other and with you. So yeah, that's a social media as well. Reddit, is that social media? Absolutely. People interact with each other. They follow each other's threads. You can follow particular people so that you can get all their latest stuff. So that's also a form of social media. Though we tend to be very much convinced that the only two that really exist is maybe Facebook and Instagram. That tends to be where we get stuck, but there's a whole world of them out there. I work for Facebook, and I can tell you now, there is more to the world than just Facebook. It's not the only game in town. Facebook is, yes, the biggest, absolutely. But did you know that Facebook is not the social media network with the most time spent on it in a day? It's actually TikTok. TikTok has more hours spent per day on that platform by people than Facebook has ever had. The only one that kind of beats them is YouTube, and that's because YouTube videos tend to be quite long. They're more like it's more like TV that's online. Each one of these networks, though, has its own audience and its own intent that people have as they're working around that particular network. So, for instance, YouTube has a very big engaged audience. It's as big as the Facebook audience. But the difference is people are on YouTube to learn how to do things, to answer questions they're asking, and to be entertained. I go on there to follow all the fan fiction on Star Wars and Star Trek because I'm a nerd. Some people go on there because they are learning how to do pottery and they're getting techniques and lessons from some of the best potters in the world. Some people just want to know how to do something, how to fix something, how to fix a leaky tap. That's a really easy thing to find on YouTube. It'll show you how to do it so you don't have to call in a plumber. Instagram users are open to new ideas and they're often ready to buy. This is probably the one platform that is so close to the intention of people buying with. And so it's also a big advertising platform. So many people advertise things like jewelry, homewares, clothing, hair products, beauty products, anything which is a fast moving consumer good can be sold so well through Instagram. And I'm not only just talking about people who shop on the Instagram shopping platform, which is part of Facebook. I'm talking about people who are happy to click on a link to go to another website to then go and buy the thing that they saw in that Instagram post or in that Instagram ad. When it comes to LinkedIn, these people want to network, they want to learn, and they want to know what's happening in the world of their careers or in their prospective career that they want to get into. This is where people are looking to see what other people are doing who are thought leaders in that space. So if that sounds like some of the customers that you know, LinkedIn could be a place for you. In fact, I probably do more marketing on LinkedIn these days than I do on Facebook, but it's organic because I still reach a lot of people without having to pay for it in LinkedIn. If we pop over to TikTok, they're filling time. This is instead of watching TV, an 18-year-old be on TikTok watching funny videos, entertaining videos, videos that are all about things that they're interested in instead of watching television. In fact, teenagers just aren't watching TV at all. And they want to be entertained. They want to be seen as trendy or being on top of those trends and knowing what's hot right now. It's also looking at a lot of beautiful people. Every time I go into TikTok, it's just full of beautiful people doing things with their shirts off. It's incredibly soul destroying, but I still spend an hour a day in there. Twitter users want to know what's happening in their world and they want to express their opinions to each other. It's where the Donald Trumps of the world, where the outspoken aging boomer men tend to be. It's where they like to express their thoughts about this horrific changing world and their conspiracy theories. Twitter is the home of so many conspiracy theories, but they're getting better at wiping those out. I personally don't like Twitter, don't like spending time on it. It's too aggressive. I have sort of got my Twitter feed to a point where it's not so aggressive and now it's too boring. It's too businesslike and I can get all the same information over at LinkedIn now. So Twitter, maybe not for me, but it could be for you. Pinterest users, they want a better, more meaningful life. They want a more comfortable life. They love to explore ideas and products that they have as an aspiration to have in their lives. So it's very similar to Instagram. Instagram is closer to the point of I see that consumer product, I want to buy it now. Pinterest is more about the big ideas. You're not necessarily going to find a lot of home renovation people on Pinterest, on Instagram, where you can just click to buy a renovation now. That's not how it works. But on Pinterest, you can see the ideas, the blueprints, the renders, the drawings of potential renovations that millions of other people have had done with their houses right around the world. Now, you may not be close to clicking on a button to go and get that thing done, but because Pinterest, like all social media networks, tends to prefer things to your feed that are close to you, that are within your geographic circle, particularly if you follow those kind of things, then you're more likely to see something from a builder or a bathroom renovator or a designer, an interior designer or a landscape gardener that's showing something that's relevant to you. So if you're in the market for those kind of things, or if you have customers that are kind of doing that. They're dreamers, they're aspirational, they're looking for the big, great things in their lives, usually material things in this case. But even down to the point of things like wanting a better life through nutrition, wanting a better life through exercise, they too are on Pinterest. And then there's Snapchat, where users like to connect very closely and personally and privately and deeply with each other. D&Ms, I've had countless deep and meaningful conversations with friends on Snapchat. We're sending Snapchats to each other backwards and forwards. And it's kind of fun because you put all sort of filters over it so you can lighten those moods. But I've had talks with very depressed friends through Snapchat, and we've lightened it up by basically turning it into a fun experience. So that's also a place where you can connect in a more deep and meaningful way with the people who follow you as a business. The problem is, though, a business can't really talk to someone. A business hasn't got a face. Sometimes it might have a character that talks to someone. So working out how to use Snapchat to personally chat with people, it can be quite time consuming, particularly if you get very popular. If not, you might find it to be a bit of a dead end that you don't have much to do. Reddit users are edgy, alternative, and open to non-standard ideas and the kind of products that feel like they're breaking the rules. So you'll see some brands in the US like Hot Topic, which is a place where it used to have like emos and goths used to shop there for alternative clothes. It's so alternative, it's in every shopping center in America. Not particularly alternative, but it's all about the kind of people who have non-standard opinions. They may be conspiracy theorists. They may be the kind of people who maybe have alternate ideas about medicine, exercise, health, nutrition, and the way the world operates. Now, in those cases, these particular users may be very open to new ideas and new things that you're doing. So if you're working in alternative or complementary health, this could be a good one for you. And then when we go to Tumblr, those users are into very specific niche things that tend to be very visual in nature. So a lot of people who follow Japanese animation, anime, or manga cartoon, or manga comics, those kind of things are very, very popular in Tumblr because Tumblr is a very, very easy to post on, very visual environment that doesn't quite have the same level of copyright rules that a lot of other social networks do. So you find people who are very deeply into anime, people who are very deeply into particular arts and crafts will tend to find themselves in Tumblr as well. And then Quora is the kind of your kind of user who is a question asker. They're looking not just to find the first result on Google to answer their question, they're looking for an expert to answer that question for them. So you go to Quora to ask questions that you don't necessarily want an easy, quick answer to. You want an expert and a complete and thorough, well thought out and proven answer to. It's a great forum to be able to ask questions to a big quorum of experts who can come back with their opinions about it. So you can get lots of different opinions back to you in one place. And then finally, Blogger. Well, Blogger users are readers of text. They like to read more deeply into things. They love to explore topics quite deeply from sources and people that they know and trust. So if you're an expert in your particular industry and it's known that you are, having a Blogger blog, not just your website blog, can be a great way to connect with people who want to learn more deeply about what it is you do and to read more deeply about your expertise and opinions. So the question is then, which ones of these sound like the kind of customer or client that you have? Which of these are the kind of customers that you would like to reach? So you can see how sometimes being on Facebook may not be working for you because your people just simply aren't there. Or they might be on there, but they're not there to look for what you do. They go to other places. Pinterest is a very underrated social network, I think. I think the attention level on Pinterest is very high for very specific kinds of things that people like to sell and services as well. And I think we'll start to see a lot more of Pinterest starting to pop up in the next couple of years, even though it's been around for a very long time. Now, our next reason why social media may not be working is because just because you're consistent doesn't mean you're going to be successful. And I know we hear it all the time, post 3 times a day on weekdays and only once a day on weekends. Don't post on weekends because no one's on LinkedIn, then go live at the same time every morning. Don't try selling anything until Tuesday. Ask a question in every post. Remind people to like, share, and comment. Post puppies at least once a week. Do shout outs to your followers every Monday. All these ideas have come about, but says who? Who's saying this? I can tell you now that some of the greatest social media experts in the world that I'm listing here on screen, these people don't say this. Mari Smith, the Facebook queen, doesn't say this. Amy Porterfield, the email marketing queen, doesn't say this. Molly Pittman, again, the Facebook ads queen, doesn't say this. Neil Patel, who's a king of getting attention and posting and getting people to convert from being people who don't know you to people who buy from you. Gary Vaynerchuk, who is so well known in the field of marketing. Naz Daly, Jay Shetty, Marsha Collier, all these people are massive names in the world of social media. None of them are telling us to do all this stuff. So who is telling us to do all this stuff? People who aren't social media experts. People who are backyard social media people who just look at these very easy, very quick little ideas that they go, oh, try this, try that. It's going to be, just do this once a week and you're going to grow your following. And it feels like you are growing your following because you badgered all your family and friends into following your business page. So the first couple of weeks is like, oh my God, it's working. I've got lots of people until it plateaus and it sort of stops. And those kind of little tactics stop working. Because after the first few times of asking a question in every post, people get bored of you because you're doing the same thing over and over again. So instead of repetitive themes and gimmicks, try asking why someone would want to follow you in the first place. And this is asking yourself. Ask yourself, what am I doing that would cause someone to want to follow me? They're not following me because of my sparkling descriptions about my product or service. They're not following me because my posts made in Canva are so clever and so cute. Why would someone want to follow you? And if you come up short with the answer and you go, well, actually, I don't know why anyone would bother to follow me, then that's when you probably need to get in someone who actually really knows what they're doing with social media, or go and consult the works and the blog posts and the podcast episodes of the world's greatest people in this space, because they're not telling you to do Motivation Monday. They're telling you to try something new. Something new might be asking what's in it for the person to like, share, and comment. It's one thing to go, hey, don't forget to like, share, and comment on my page. There's another thing to actually get people to do those things. What's in it for someone to do that? Because if they're all not doing anything interesting, if you're being boring, then why would they want to share you to their feed? Why would they want to share that with their friends? Because they're supporting a small business? It's not enough of a reason. We're going to produce something that's worth them sharing, something that's in their life and in their world. And we only find that out by finding out and understanding what happens in the day of your customer. What are the things they come up against? What are the challenges? When they're lining up to pick the kids up from school, what are the problems they go through every day? Things like drive time radio programs have kind of got this down pat. They understand that there's a certain times when different kinds of people are in the car listening to the radio. And quite often when that school pickup is on, they'll often put a bit of retro stuff, a bit of retro music on the hot hit station right at the time when mum's going to pick it up, because mum's a little older than that station's demographic usually is. But when she's in the car and that radio goes on, they're playing stuff that she's going to like. Or it might be a Sunday night when someone's got in the radio on in the background at home while they're doing some ironing or something. So what do? They play classic hits, pop hits from the 80s, power ballads from the 90s, that kind of thing. So what is happening in the day of your customer? And how can you do something? How can you offer something in your feed that relates to them? And you do that by asking what's important about them in their life. Even take a few people, message them and say, hey, I'm trying to make some better posts for my social media. I just want to know, like, when it comes to what I do, what's important to you with all this? And they can come back and say, oh, well, I guess I follow you because, you have something positive to say. And that really seems really nice to get sometimes. And you go, well, if that's the kind of thing that they're coming to see me for, rather than me posting about my products and services, then what am I doing posting boring stuff about my product specifications when they're not coming here to see that? And then you may need to ask a really hard, really harsh question about yourself and what you're doing. And I've had to do this a few times, and it cost me $57,000 to understand that I did not have a market for a particular service that I was offering, that I went and built an app. I went and built a system. I went and built a business. It cost me $57,000. Probably over the course of winding it down, it's probably cost me well over $150,000 lost. That I didn't understand up front that my product didn't have a market. I was passionate about it. Yes, absolutely. Did I think that it could change the world? Absolutely, yes. Did I think I was doing a good thing for the target customers I had? Yes, yes, and even more yes. Did the market and the target customer actually want what I was selling? No, no, sorry, not at all, not even close, because I didn't ask that question up front. I didn't ask if my product that I was producing actually had a market worth selling to. Did anyone actually want the problem I was trying to solve? Did anyone actually have the problem that I was trying to solve? So even if you've started your business, asking yourself this question at all points of your journey is really important. Because if you go, I've been slogging away at this for 6 months and I haven't had a single customer, just simply white knuckling your way through and going, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it. I believe, I believe, I believe, manifest, manifest, manifest. It may just be that nobody wants what you're doing. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because they may want something that's very close to it. In my case, I built that app and that service, which was a small business reward system, so that you could have in your small business the equivalent of, say, Flybuys or Woolworths rewards, but it was connected to hundreds and thousands of other small businesses around Australia rather than to the supermarket chains. Unfortunately, it was not required or desired by my market that I was targeting at. But what was targeted by them, as I found out as I collected all the iPads and systems from them afterwards, was that they wanted social media advice, knowing how to build and maintain a website, knowing how to market themselves to their local areas. All those things were very important to them. And rather than just folding up and going, well, my first product failed, I better close down, I went, well, maybe there's some money to be made in that stuff. It wasn't that different to what I was doing. I was able to pivot across to working on that stuff and making a little bit of coin, to the point where now, 6 years later, that business is thriving. Now, you may also be tracking the wrong things. And this is a big mistake in social media, where we want to track all those sexy things like likes and follows and, how much people love us. We're always watching, the good news stuff, the things that make us feel good, the likes, the shares, the follows, the how many people did this, how many people are following us, particularly those follower numbers. We seem to be quite addicted to those. But what we really probably be needing to keep an eye on is the really boring stuff, such as the reach of our posts. And you can find it in your Facebook insights. You can find it in your Instagram post insights if you've got a business profile on Instagram. So by doing that, you find out how far your post went. And that's far more useful to you than the number of followers you have. Because your followers, a third of them are going to be fake, a third of them are going to be irrelevant to what your business is, and a third may be kind of vaguely related to what your target audience is. So when you take 2/3 of your followers away, then you go, well, maybe my follower numbers are not really a good indication of how successful I am. But engagement is a very important metric. So if you're looking at engagement levels, this is about the amount of buzz and reaction that you generated. If you posted something and 15 people liked it, 3 people shared it with their friends, and the total reach of that and the engagement between all the people if we had 37 people engaging with that post and over 6,000 people saw it in their feeds, that's a pretty good post. Probably a lot better than what most of the posts you or I are doing today, right? And then finally, there's a quality aspect to those posts too, and the kind of stuff that comes in response to it. So a quality metric for you may be that someone liked, shared, and commented, and you go, that's a very high quality advocate of what I'm doing. There's someone who's being a brand ambassador for me. They're sharing with their friends the stuff that they love about what I do. But it could also be that a quality measurement for you is when you look at what are the things that actually lead to a result that I have in mind? What are the things, the interactions that lead to more people engaging? What are the things that lead to more followers following? What are the things that lead to an actual sale, or at least an inquiry or a set of inquiries? So you can find out what your own measurements are there, but I'd say start with reach and then move to engagement as really good metrics about what's working within your page insights in Facebook, or your post insights in Instagram. And most of these social media platforms have an equivalent of that too. Going viral is a big strategy that a lot of businesses try to follow. They want to crack the big time and get their product or service and their video in front of millions upon millions of people so they become a little bit famous. They want to be the Kim Kardashian of the doTERRA world. Well, promotions for your Facebook, promotions for your products and for your services are probably never, ever, ever going to go viral because they're just not that interesting, really. Going viral doesn't help your followers to feel more connected to you. In fact, it can make them feel a little bit more distant from you because suddenly there's 100,000 other people clamoring for your attention. Those who are reached when you do go viral, they're not going to go on and become customers of yours unless you're selling something in American dollars. It's got really cheap shipping and it's really cheap for them to buy. So you've got a viral video about this spoon that's also a fork, which is also a knife, and you can take it in your handbag and not get pulled over by the security guys as you're boarding a plane. That might go viral. But if you're trying to sell services, consultation services, any kind of you could be someone who is a counselor, someone who's selling massage therapy, someone who's selling more expensive services online. Perhaps it could be you're doing bathroom renovations or you're providing handyman services. Those customers, no matter what you do, they're not going to become your customers. And the effort that's required in producing stuff which is hopefully going to go viral, and it's a huge amount of effort because you've got to write a very interesting script, and then you've got to go and try and make it so as funny as you possibly can and as entertaining as you possibly can, and then find who's going to see it and kind of force it to get out there by boosting a few posts, and hopefully someone famous is going to pick it up and spread it for you. The amount of effort you're putting in, you might as well go to deliver good service through answering your inbox messages and your comments and responding to comments and offering relevant, educational, exciting, or engaging stuff on your feed rather than trying to go viral. Going viral is reserved for so few people. One or two things in the internet at all go what we consider really viral every month. Even if one thing a day went viral, and it really doesn't really go that viral. Every day, if something went viral, that means there's only 365 things are going to go viral. You're not going to probably be one of those 365 things in the year that went viral. What you got to understand are those things that do go viral on TikTok, for instance. Those TikTokers largely still live with their parents. They're largely in over their heads in debt, with credit card debt and personal loan debt that's just horrific. They're doing all these great looks with their amazing summer looks and their makeup and their accessories, their Louis Vuitton bags and all that. But their business isn't about selling those things. Their business isn't about anything apart from them being an influencer, them being famous and a star. To them, getting all the views and blowing up on TikTok is the business, in the hope that something will happen from that. But what could happen for that? They get some free clothing. They might be able to get someone to want to pay them to promote a product. Yeah, a couple of $100 per post, that'd be about it. It's not really a very reliable way to make a business. And above that, there's so many other people who are doing it. There are influencers who are literally killing themselves to look as good as they do, absolutely annihilating themselves in gyms, going and having themselves plucked and pruned to within an inch of their lives just to produce another thing in the hope that it'll blow up on TikTok because they hope that someone thinks they're beautiful enough to watch again and again. On Facebook, the products that have already been made in their millions have been put in those viral videos about a certain widget or a certain product that has got that far because that company has spent millions of dollars on influencers and advertising to get that in front of people and to tell them that this is the latest hot trending item. And so we go, oh, it's the latest hot trending item. I really want to buy this. By the time we get there, most of these campaigns lose a lot of money. They're mostly designed to get you to buy that one low-cost viral item that then go to their website, and you've got about 30 different things you can buy. So the hope is that you'll buy that one thing they lose money on in order to buy 3 other things on their website. They finally make a bit of money out of you. It's not a very good way to do business. Even on Instagram, where you'll sell millions of units of that one thing that went viral, that lip color, that lip gloss, that color palette, that particular vegetable spiral maker, that air fryer. They'll sell millions of those units within a few weeks of that viral video, but then it just drops to nothing. And those particular products tend to be low quality because they're produced in very high volumes and they're drop shipped very quickly to get them out there. And they get terrible reviews. Oh my goodness, because the quality is so bad and it's not what we thought it would be. That influencer ring light that we thought would spend $200 on, and it arrives and it's just a piece of plastic rubbish, just like the ones you can buy at Kmart for $35, you'd be really annoyed. The reviews are going to get really bad. So going viral is not really that good a thing because let's face it, are you ready to take on 2 million new customers? Probably not. The scaling up that would require is just out of control. One other mistake we make with social media is we make it all about ourselves. It's about reading my blog and buying my things and signing up for my Instagram challenge and joining my newsletter. And it all sounds a little bit like me, 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 me. And that's exactly what it is. It's us talking about ourselves to a bunch of people who don't particularly care that much. So trying a little bit less of you and a little bit more of them by sharing some other material that isn't so much just your stuff, my blog, my page, my photos, my stuff. Share something else. Highlight some of your fans. Bring your fans forward and actually give them a moment in the sun, because they know lots of people and those lots of people are going to come and see that item that you do. So if you get one of your fans to pretend to be you for a day, how would you, as one of my fans, promote my business? How would you do my advertising better? And they'll come through and do some amazing stuff for you. You might find your new social media manager that way. But what you will definitely find is all their friends and family are going to come across and see what that thing is. That's good promotions for you, rather than just trying to push your stuff. Post something of local interest every now and again. It doesn't always have to be about you. It can be about your local area. It can be about the sunset. It can be about this time of year. It's all smoke in the air. It's very smoky here in Darwin today. But for you, it could be very cold, and you want to wrap yourself up in one of those hoodies, those blanket things with a hood on them, and you want to sit down and toast marshmallows in a log fire. If that's the kind of thing you do, because that's the kind of thing that your local customers and clients are going through as well, great, put it in front of them. Show them there's more to you than just another post that's about you and your products and services. Another reason why you're failing is because you're not interacting with your followers. Let me tell you the story about the little award-winning hotel that couldn't. I won't name them. They're in Darwin. They're an award-winning hotel. It's won what's called the Brolga Award. So it's the Northern Territory Tourism Award for their particular category, 6 years in a row. Yet, in the peak of the pandemic, when every other hotel was closed and they were open, they still ignored messages on their Facebook inbox. During the quietest months of the year, which is the wet season, they didn't answer their Facebook inbox for up to 3 weeks at a time. How many lost customers were there when they were running TV and radio ads for a promotion that they were running, asking for people to come and speak to them, to call them, to go to their website or see them on Facebook? They didn't respond to messages on Facebook about the promotion. Crazy. They were literally asking people to come in and inquire about the promotion through Facebook, and yet they still didn't run those ads. And they had plenty of staff to cover this. They had plenty of training to do this, because I actually trained them on how to do it. And yet they still didn't do it because they just did not want to. The staff didn't care. And to this day, they still struggle with all this. Don't be that hotel. Answer the questions, but even more so, answer the comments on the posts you're doing as well. Acknowledge people. It can make their day. Now, this one's a bit harsh, and I'm sorry if it comes across that way, but it is true. Nobody cares about your marketing. Nobody cares about what you're trying to sell. You care about marketing yourself, but they care about cool pictures and cats and puppies and babies and videos and their friends and their connections they have with people. But you want to push out a price and a product and a promise about your product. So where do we find that happy medium? It's to step into their lives. How can their product be used in their life? What is the problem in their life that we want to solve? Rather than just simply pumping out post after post after post after post about buy my stuff. One big problem we have in the social media world is that we got kind of used to, back in 2008, getting very instant responses to everything we did on Facebook, because there was maybe only about 2,000 or 3,000 businesses in Australia who were on Facebook back then. There's now over 1 million of them. So it's a bit of a problem these days. It takes, on average, 1.5 years of consistent involvement posting, interacting, very important, interacting, engagement, testing, and activity on a social media profile before it becomes anywhere near what you'd call successful or as a revenue generating part of a business. So if you opened up your online store 2 days ago and you put out your posts and nobody's following, you're like, what's happened? What's going on? Nothing's going on. It's because it's not meant to happen yet. Just like it takes, in my case, I started advertising one of my businesses on the television and I got not a single response from that TV ad for 5 weeks. On week 6, I got 17 phone calls. It's like it took them 6 weeks at high rotation of an ad to finally notice it and find a need for this in their lives. And then from that point on, the phone calls kept coming again and again and again. The inquiries kept coming again and again and again. And they still come, even though I haven't advertised on television in nearly 2 years. I still get those inquiries based upon that because they think of that time when they saw it. To them, it doesn't feel that long ago. But for me, it was 2 years ago. So it's crazy. It takes a long time to become a recognizable brand or a recognizable force in your marketplace. So just understand that it does take that long because that takes a lot of the pressure off you trying to get this thing to work straight away. Unfortunately, it used to work really quickly. It doesn't now because 22 million people in Australia are on Facebook now. So things are busier. There's a lot more noise coming down the pipe, down that feed. So not all of our stuff is going to get through. So it takes a while to find your feet, to get that A/B testing between this thing and this thing. Which one works? That one? Okay, do more of that. Don't do any more of that. Test again in about 3 months' time. Let's see what works now. That takes time. And it takes some effort as well. A bit of smarts and a lot of patience. I hate this one because this was me a very long time ago where I just had no personality whatsoever. I was just posting what I thought was of interest to people, and it wasn't of interest to them all. 90% of businesses are boring on social media. And have a look around. Look at your competitors and what they're posting on social media. Look at what you're posting on social media. Look at what most brands and businesses in your local area are putting on social media. And it is boring as bat droppings, right? I didn't want to say it. Otherwise, I won't be able to put this on YouTube and Facebook. It is just boring. It's them talking about themselves, them talking about how wonderful they are, without having any sort of context about who the people are who are following them and what those people want. So if you can possibly add in a bit of personality, a character, a mascot, some kind of, if you're silly and funny, if you've got dad jokes, if you've got, if you want to write funny quotes on your chalkboard out the front of your cafe every morning, that shows some personality as opposed to it's Motivation Monday. Tell us how you get your motivation on Mondays. Oh God, somebody just slapped me. It's just something that doesn't work and it never has worked either. I don't know why people seem to think it does. And another reason why you may not be working well when it comes to social media is because you're not doing that testing. And I've actually sort of led onto this several times this afternoon, that you try one thing and you match it up against another thing. And that's what we call split testing or A/B testing. You try one layout of a website against another. You send half your traffic to one side, half the traffic to another. In social media, it can be, let's say we're going to put out on this Monday, we're going to put this kind of post. Next Monday, we're going to put that kind of post and repeat that process for the next 2 months. And we'll learn which one actually works better. Oh, it's the second one that works better. Great. Stop doing the first one. Do more of the second one. And when that stops working, throw in a third one and test it against it as well. Or you can do the develop, test, and adjust model, which is 3 steps where you develop an idea and you give it a try, and then you see if it tests it out in the market and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, well, you go, well, we'll try something else. And then you do the whole process again. You develop a new idea, a new kind of post, a new kind of content, and then you put it in front of your audience, and then they like it, and you go, great, let's keep doing that. Let's keep doing more of that. So it might be that you put instead of putting out another Canva graphic, you put out a video of yourself talking about something, showing an opinion about something that's got something to do with your product. Sort of, you might even have the product in the background there, but you're talking about something that's going on in your neighborhood, something that's going on in your local area. And that seems to work. People seem to quite like that. They're like, she's all right. it's not going to take them long to put two and two together to realize that you're also that person from that business with that kind of thing you're doing. And you can even put a comment down below in that video saying, people have been asking me about what that drink is that I've been holding. It's actually my XXX drink, and it's all about getting the nutrients into. If you want to know more about it, here's a link. That sort of stuff kind of works well because you're not talking about the product. You're not boring people to tears about the amount of great nutrients that'll be delivered through this extra technology of protein delivery to your cells. And you're not talking about that. You're just talking about everyday things that impact the people who you're trying to reach. You just so happen to have the drink in your hands, right? That's called product placement. That's what influencers do. That's what celebrities and stars have been doing on TV for gosh knows how long. My name's Dante St. James. I really hope you got some value out of this afternoon and looked at some of the things that you might have been doing yourself where you go, you know what? I really could change that. I really need to address what I'm doing. Now, if you're already part of the ASBAS Digital Solutions program, good news, you can still get hold of bookings with myself and all those amazing advisors on the system until the end of July in this current platform. There is a change to the program, which you would have been emailed at some point, and that means you can't register necessarily for the new program. But if you want to make some good use of the rest of the time you've got left for the program this month, go to asbas.com.au and book in with myself or the other advisors to learn more about how you can do better with your social media, with your digital marketing, with websites, selling online, cybersecurity. Gosh, no, I've just heard today about another person who just lost a whole lot of money through having things stolen through their unsecured accounts. It's crazy that people just still haven't got it right. Don't set obvious passwords. Please reach out to me at dante@treaty.com.au. You can follow, stalk me through LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm not that fascinating, but if you feel like you need to stalk me, you have my blessing to go ahead and do that thing. I'd like to thank you again for taking some time, I guess, out of your business to learn more about how you can increase your business and make things better. Please do have an awesome night, and I really do hope to see you in the next one.